Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so very much for joining me today. We wake up this morning to bad news regarding a mass shooting in California at the Borderline Bar by an ex Marine who went in with a 45 specifically to shoot people. And it looks like 12 are dead, among them a sergeant who went in to engage the shooter and try to stop him and was shot. And many young people, because it was college night. So I want to know a little bit more about this. We don't know much about him, except for that he lived at home with his mother. Somebody who served with them said maybe he had post-traumatic stress disorder. He was called to the house. There was an incident, but it may have been that he, maybe not even called to the house. It may have been that he was actually, there's a couple of things, a victim of a fight in a bar, but then there was also a report that a mental health team was called to his house in the spring to assess his ability to stay safe there. So we have a few different things. We're going to be learning more about him, of course. But I do want to ask about him right now. This is ridiculous. This is another mass shooting. In the last 30 days, we've had bombs sent to leading Democrats in the nation, including 2 former presidents and first ladies. We've had the Pittsburgh massacre where Jews were gunned down as they were worshiping. We have, and that was a number 8 or 9. We've had 2 African American citizens gunned down in a grocery store simply because the shooter couldn't get in the church where he had planned to gun down a lot more. We've had shooting at a yoga studio, 2 women by a misogynist. So far, all of these people have had in common that they hang out online with right-wing extremists, whether that's neo-Nazis, white nationalists, white supremacists, or incel, which hating women because they're involuntarily celibate. And, women are the enemy. So I want to know about this guy. What about Ian David Long? What was his deal? What happened with him? He's dead now. He killed himself after shooting them. But what happened with him? Okay, let's see. And this isn't current. This is when he was alive. Well, maybe it is current. He's giving me the 9 of, yeah, okay, fine. If he's hanging around, as people do for a little bit after traumatic death, he's giving me the 9 of Pentacles. Right now, he's fine. He's at peace. Okay. He's amazed at that. He didn't think he would be. Thought he was going straight to hell. Okay. His outward characteristic. He was confused, he's telling us. He was believing all kinds of things that were not true. He was not well grounded in reality. All right. Inward characteristic. He felt like it was time. He felt like this was fated. But he had a lot of unrealistic ideas about that. In some ways, maybe it was his time to go. On a larger, more esoteric scale, but he says this wasn't what he was supposed to do. He failed. This was not what he was supposed to do in his life. All right. We have the 3 of Swords on his goal. He just wanted to harm people. He just wanted to harm people. And maybe that's because he had these harms. He had heartbreaks that he had been carrying for a very long time. His motivation, victory, victory by the sword. That's what I'm seeing there. And he felt like in his deluded state, he felt like he needed to get a truth out there. That's what he felt like. He thought he was offering a truth to people. I don't know about mental health stuff. I say deluded state because, not in a official way of saying deluded. There are a lot of people who have a lot of self-delusions, and that just might be part of who they are. It's mental illness, but it's not clinical. Sometimes it's ongoing. Okay, what's at stake is the Five of Swords. What was at stake? He did not think about anybody else. He just thought about victory, anger. He was very angry. He was very angry. He could care less about anything else at that point. He didn't care. He wanted victory. He wanted to get some sort of truth out that in his deluded state he thought was important. He felt like he had a right to do this because he'd been hurt so much in the past. Okay. His flaw or his need. Yes, he wanted to harm himself. He wanted to harm himself. He wanted to leave. Nothing was emotionally fulfilling to him. He thought this would feel good. He had a lot of fantasies about this ahead of time. The source of that need, we have the Five of Pentacles. The source of that flaw. He felt he'd been shut out in the cold. He felt nobody cared about him. He was upset. He was a veteran who had some issues. Look at the head wound there. Maybe he did have PTSD, as somebody who served with him thought he did, but he felt left out in the cold and neglected and not cared about by his country. He looked at other people getting assistance, everybody else who got assistance, and felt like they shouldn't get it. He should, because he was a vet. Justice card. He thought he was doing justice. He thought he was really deluded. He thought he was doing justice and getting back at people. Okay, let's clarify a little bit here. Jeepers. Very angry. I mean, look at that column of swords, you guys. And the Five of Swords. Very angry and hurt and miserable. Okay, but right now, he's on the other side, so he feels safe. But it's not the 10. It's the 9. So he hasn't completed that. Okay, we have the Queen of Cups. Okay, there's probably a female relative on the other side also helping him right now, helping him to understand the truth. Okay. There's the 10 of Cups. Now he understands. The 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups. 9 of Cups. Well, now he feels some security. He feels at peace. All right. And guys, I know, but that does happen for everybody. We do get help to learn about our mistakes, and that doesn't mean that there's no pain experienced when people do look at what they've done and it hurts. It does. They do choose to feel the pain of that, to grow from it. But I have never had a reading where I didn't see people tell me that they feel a new sense of calm and safety over there. So there it is. All of us get a chance to learn from our mistakes. I should say almost all. I'm not entirely sure all of us do, but this man is. Okay. He's seeing the truth. He's seeing that a lot of his beliefs were paranoid and unfounded. Okay, and we have the world card, completion. He just felt like that was, he needed to do it. He was destined to do it. He had a lot of thoughts about this that were really not grounded. So I said nothing clinical, but who knows, right? I don't know. He thought this was meant to be, and that's not, yeah, that's not true. I mean, I try not to get into mental health kinds of things when I'm doing these readings. Um, but yeah, he had probably post traumatic stress disorder, they said. And I see all this. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't seeing things very clearly. No. Don't know that he was psychotic, but he wasn't seeing things clearly. Okay. And we have the Three of Swords. And he had some issues too, even before he went into the Marines. And the Moon, secrets. There are things no, he didn't tell anybody about this plan. So really, no, his mother did not know. Even online people he talked to probably did not know. Okay. Certainly not about the depth of his beliefs of being wounded, that he himself was a wounded party. Okay. We have the Five of Swords. That's just, oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. Look at that. A lot of anger. He just didn't care. He wanted to kill people. He wanted people down. He wanted, and he felt like that was a way of his truth coming out, all the things that he kept secret and hidden. And then we have the Temperance card. He planned this for a long time, you guys. He planned it. He waited till he was good and mad to actually go do it, but he planned it. He thought of this many times. And we have the cups, the Eight of Cups and the Magician. Yeah, he thought he would feel pretty darn powerful doing this. Yep, I mean, this is a lot of sickness here in the way he's looking at things, just a crazy way of looking at it. Just anger, anger, anger. The Queen of Swords here with the source of it. There's something here. He felt wronged by a woman. I got that in the last reading too. He didn't like that there were so many female voters, that so many women got into Congress. He feels like the future of our nation then is, oh, they're going to give more to other people when they should be giving it to me and people like me. Um, he and women reporting things and women talking. This makes him somehow feel left out in the cold. So he may have had trouble with women, women telling on him, women saying things about him, um, hurting him, he felt. This is not somebody who has insight about his own behavior because he's not really realistic about that. All right, we have the Justice card and the 10. He thought this was going to be justice. He thought it would be justice. So we have a man who, but yet he kept a lot of it a secret, you guys. So I don't know that anybody would have known that he was going to do this. And I don't know. I think he was kind of careful about his online activity, though I do get the sense that he was reading things that were stoking him up, were, that he bought into some of this ideology, this very far right extremist ideology we've seen dominating the violence lately, that he bought into that. But I don't know that he would have posted a lot about it. I'm not sure. Maybe he did here and there. But he did make efforts to keep things secret, for sure. Okay, well, there he is. Very troubled soul. And he says he failed. He just says he failed in his life purpose and his mission. Completely failed. So this wasn't a meant to be thing, he's telling me. It was not a meant to be thing. It's just in his addled mind, he thought it was. And he now sees that compassion is boundless and people can have compassion for others, yet still have enough for themselves. The answer is not to look at it from a lack of compassion and help and care for people. So you have to be angry at he says he can't believe how wrong he was. He cannot believe how wrong he was. He just had it entirely upside down, he says. Well, I thank you so very much.